Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Absolute Rain Podcast. My name is Icy, and I'll be your host for today with my co-host, Accuracy.
What is going on, everybody?
Today, we have a special guest. He's a member of staff here at AR. So, Reapers, how's your day been, buddy?
To be honest, it hasn't been too great, man. Yeah, I got up, had to go to work, and I had to drive home an hour to get home to work. Then I had to drive to work after being snowed in the day before because of the goddamn Manitoba weather. So, you tell me how my day's been going.
Sounds like shit.
So it's not been too good up there in Canada, eh?
And it's not in Manitoba, nope.
So Reapers, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Who are you, and what is your role in AR?
So, my role is Esports Manager at Absolute Rain. My role is kind of like to watch over all of the esports divisions, and I kind of make little movements and adjustments. I work closely with Crucified on these moves and progress, how our esports divisions are doing, and what we need to do to make changes, when we need to additions, anything that needs to be done within the division of esports itself.
Is there any current special plans with all of that?
We've had a few plans, but nothing has really happened yet. There's some things in motions behind picking up new teams, new games, and of course keeping activity up and getting all the players active and motivated to compete.
So as we said in the Crucified podcast, if you're out there, we're looking. He's got his eyes on you.
We're searching. You could be the next AR player.
What is your experience within the pro scene?
So I've been in esports probably since 2013. Actually, my first event that I saw in esports ever was MLG Anaheim Call of Duty. It was Optic Gaming, and they were playing against... Who was it? I think it was playing Impact.
I was Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 2, yep.
Yeah.
That was my very first one, and that was the first time I got absolutely hooked to esports after that. I've always had that drive for competition and video games. I played hockey and sports growing up, so that's where that competitive side of me came.
Sniping
and
Genos.
then my video games. The what?
Sniping Genos.
Sniping Genos, except I didn't snipe. I was bad at sniping, man.
Said I'm not a part of FaZe. I'm no Pomage.
I'm just a Nate Shot fanboy at the time.
Hey, he's still killing it to the day. Even though he's he might not have the COD skills anymore, but
he's killing it with 100 Thieves. That's for sure.
We could hype him up all the time on this cast, man.
Sucks.
So I watched Call of Duty for maybe since halfway through Ghosts, and then the off season actually hit, and you kind of have to figure out what to do after COD Champs. There's nothing really happening, so I had to go through Twitch. That was my main source of video games and watching at the time. And I stumbled across, it was ESL1 Cologne. It was the major at the time. And it was between, I thought it was Cloud9 playing. And Cloud9 was playing NIP in the quarterfinals that game. It was one good game. I didn't really know much about CSGO prior to that. I didn't even know what it was. But it was just kind of like, I was kind of looking around for something, right?
So, with all that being said, what are your goals personally with you being so heavily invested into the pro scene for so long?
Personally, I just you know.
he said personally, you know. I just
personally.
He said I just like being around it, man. We got good vibes, cool people.
No, but personally, my goals would be to I want to get some sort of success out of esports, right? I mean, I have other future career plans aside from esports, because esports isn't something that it's going to be around forever. Like, it may be blowing up now, but who knows where it's going to be in 10 years' time.
Hopefully it's blowing up. And
it's only getting bigger right now, so.
Yeah. Hopefully we got like the NFL of COD, right? Like, coming our way.
Oh, please don't tell me NFL right now. It's too early. With the Saints, man.
Rip.
That was a pass interference. Personally, though, Yeah, what I said is make it to esports. I like the management side of esports, or being in esports in general is just something I like doing. So managing it and being able to help run an organization is just, it's kind of just something cool to do.
So your personal goals kind of coincide with this. Aside from like what do you have outside of AR that you do?
Outside of AR, I go to my friends. I hang out with my friends. We usually go to Smash tournaments. We've been starting to do that for about a month now. Actually, just 2 weeks, and then they're heading to another event, 2 events in February. And
I've always wanted to like see one of those kind of deals. Sorry,
they're very cool. But yeah, we're gonna go there. I didn't actually compete in the last Smash tournament because I don't have a Switch. I had to go to their place to play on the Switch. But it's still gonna be like that heading forward. So I'm just gonna be partnering up with one of my guys, one of my buddies. He's pretty damn good at the game. We're gonna be partnering up, and we're just for the hell of it, we're gonna enter the duos at the ultimate. It's like a $250 pot, except the singles is the $750 pot. So that's the real one you want to go in for.
So have you ever thought about merging your personal life with like if AR is taking off? Have you ever thought about bringing in one of your buddies and maybe having a Smash League or something like that going?
I've definitely thought of it a few times. I just don't know what they're into esports. They know what it is. They know about it. I just don't know if they want to get in that far with esports to get into like leagues and stuff.
Just go balls deep. Fuck it.
There you go. No life it.
Yeah, who cares?
If there's a scene for it and they're good in it, why not? If they can join in, obviously, like that's why I said if AR is taking off,
Right.
Where if we're moving towards the higher tier section that Crucified wants it to be, then bring them up with you.
Who cares?
For sure.
Take a chance. You never know. It's better
like Icy
trying it
like
than
Icy
not
said,
doing
fuck
it. Fuck it. It's better, like, this is what I say. It's better doing it than not doing it at all, because if you've never done it and you pass up that chance, you honestly don't know what could have happened. That's why I try to take as many chances as I can. That's why I try to do as many things as I can, because I don't know if I like it, and I don't know what can happen if I do it. You never know the outcome of something.
That's why I'm going pro in CSGO. I've played a whole maybe like 2 hours on it.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
You still missed that kill entirely, just for the record.
No.
No, you're just looking into Squeaky for how many extra seconds after I kill him and leave the site. You have no idea where he is.
Yo, okay, look, I'm used to my kill feed being a bottom left and it was top right, so I wasn't checking it. At that point, we were in casual still. Come on.
Yeah, that was casual.
What really matters is the ranked, where I got shit on.
We all did. It wasn't very pretty.
Hey, it's okay. I made a teammate rage, and then we made a draw.
We kicked one, and then the other one left.
I just want to be the Tyler 1 of CSGO.
Oh God.
That's my personal goal.
Honestly, I haven't actually heard much of Tyler 1 and what he has done and anything about him really.
Oh, he's basically like, yeah, dude, like he's funny, toxic. Like it's.
Oh yes.
I'll send you a video. I'll send you a video later where he was on, like he was helping. I guess they were doing a show match for League of Legends with a bunch of streamers. Yeah. And they brought him on to cast and to like do all these different things. And it was just, dude, he's just a funny guy. But he's like a monitor smashing. If he gets pissed off in a game, he does nothing but rush mid lane and stuff like that. Like he's
the toxic, typical League of Legends player.
Yeah. Oh, and he only runs Draven. Like that is the only one he runs. Always. But go ahead, Icy.
All right, that was
Move us forward.
That was fucking long. What goals do you have for AR? Why was that so long? What goals do you have for AR?
Goals for AR is to help AR grow to what Crucified wants it to be. Like he wants this to be something where he's invested a lot into it. He wants it to be a top name up there with Cloud9 and all the other big organizations. So I think that's obviously something anyone who joins an esports team kind of wants, right? They want to see their organization, what they've invested into all their time, countless nights into they want to see it grow and they want to see it pay off.
So long term, your goal is to continue with it and just grind it out.
Make this shit popping.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I said, we're looking, man. We're looking. We're trying to bring it up.
Facts.
And it takes time, right? Nothing happens overnight.
So we talked a little bit, or touched a little bit on what games you're into, but so you're into Smash, CSGO, I think a little bit of COD. So what are you presently like? What are you watching?
What is your shit right now?
Playing?
Right now, I'm always into CSGO. That's where I'm based out of right now. It's what I've been watching for 4 years, and I'm still watching it. As far as I've been watching a whole other esports over the time, it's not just CSGO. I'm still in Call of Duty. I watch that. I pay attention to what happens in that pro scene. I watch a bit of the Dota 2 scene. I haven't been into it too much recently. I just know that they had that chunk. Well, I can't even say it, and I'm not even gonna actually try it. Major, and I don't remember who won that. I know Evil Geniuses. They're one of my favorite like esports organizations that's up there. And they got third place. They lost to, and I can't even remember who they lost. I think it was Vici.
Oh man. So, well, how about that? Why are you into why Evil Geniuses? If you don't mind me asking.
I don't know. It's the logo, the name is pretty cool. Actually, funny thing is one of the guys who used to own Evil Geniuses, Alexander Garfield. He was kind of a guy who I looked up to when making an esports org, or when I first made my old esports org. It's because he did it. He had no investment, no investors of any kind helping him out. He kind of built his organization from the ground up himself. And he did it very good. He took from Evil Geniuses from a small CSGO team in 2005 to getting bought by Twitch in 2014.
Jesus. So he's like he's straight out the gutter.
He's insane. He knows what he's doing. And now he sold EG. He left Twitch because Twitch actually did end up kicking him out, from what I heard and from the sources I've seen. Pretty much that because all the other teams were going towards Twitch and saying they'll boycott Twitch, go to other sites if they give Evil Geniuses any like preferential behavior or anything treatment. Yeah,
that's
and so basically, yeah, they just strangled Evil Geniuses and just said you can't do anything. So then they pretty much kicked Garfield out with it, and then he actually ended up just this last month came back with Pop Dog, and that's kind of like a back end for esports and live streaming and stuff. And he came back with a whole bunch of like esports guys that are from the last 15 years.
Jesus, so he's just all over the place, killing it.
He's very good. So he's one of the guys I look up to.
So EG is like your favorite because it was founded by
and
Alexander.
Alexander.
And then he brought it up from the ground up, and now he's coming
Straight
back for Twitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight from the bottom.
Straight from the bottom. Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
He said Drake's from Canada.
Oh god.
All right.
Whew. What do you like to do outside of AR?
Well, it's like it kind of actually answers what you asked earlier. Not you. I think it was accuracy though.
Oh,
It was I do end up going to Smash tournaments with my friends. I usually end up on weekends heading out to their place, which is where I was this weekend before I got snow stayed. Was just there. We were hanging out, played some Smash. We usually don't do anything else, but usually stay there, play Smash, or do something because we're just fucking weird like that.
Well, what do you do more for work and
Yeah,
such?
you
Like,
go to
what's
school,
your,
you go to work. What's your personal life like? You go out drinking? What's up, buddy? Come on, we want.
Oh, absolutely. I can't miss a weekend without drinks. That's for starters.
All right, there we go. We want to know
As
the
for
Reapers.
work,
Come on, let's
for
get
work,
juicy.
For work, I'm actually just a technician at High Life Foods.
I don't even
And-
know what.
Yeah, I don't know
that
what the
is?
fuck that is. So please enlighten us.
It's a pig barn.
Ooh, fun.
Very.
Great, I love it. So what do you do? What is your job there?
It's well, we produce pigs. We send them to other barns. They grow there, and then they get sent to the slaughterhouse, and then where they become pork to eat.
So
much the-
you grow
So I
pigs.
take it you don't eat. I
You
take
grow
it you don't
pigs.
eat bacon.
I do. I don't. My work hasn't really changed my pork eating habit all that much.
Oh shit! Sounds a savage.
It would for me. I
I can eat bacon. I eat pork chops. Because we do end up getting like free pork twice a year, up to $125 worth.
Hey, okay. Well, then that's pretty lit.
So they kind of like say, hey, buy this pork. That's your perk. So you're kind of like, what you gotta do? Say no to hot free pork.
No, never.
No, some free
So-
food right there.
What are your opinions on the CSGO scene, and how should one take their route to become successful within that scene?
Okay. Now I got it. So my opinion on the CSGO scene. Apart from the pro scene itself, that entire scene itself is extremely toxic. For starts. You go
Like
anywhere
every
from
scene.
pretty much, but I think CSGO has it particularly worse than anyone else. You go into any lobby ever, and people are saying stuff about your mother or something else towards your religion or whatever, calling you some names that they don't need to be saying.
So it's like
Fucking Xbox 360 lobbies up in that
2012.
bitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like 2012 Xbox 360 COD chats.
Fuck. I like it though.
And then to fill the next question is, how should one take their route to become successful in the scene? Is basically, from what I've seen and heard from other CSGO pros that made it, they basically had to put everything that they had on hold to kind of go for that, to even make a push for it. You got to play however many hours a day, death matching, playing pugs, go to your team scrims, play matches, and then aim mapping and whatnot to get yourself better in all aspects, right?
Yeah, like so more so what I'm asking, I guess, would be what route, as far as like, because with like Fortnite there's no established route yet. You have, like, right now the overarching theme is you have to have some sort of viewership, and you have to play in a qualifier to get into the Fortnite sanctioned events or Epic Games sanctioned events. And I know with CSGO that Valve doesn't technically sanction events, and that there's a lot of different types of events. So how would a team like Absolute Rain go from, being a fresh team? Now, granted, obviously they'd want to have those years of experience behind them, but what route would they take as far as, like, is there any specific leagues or tournaments or so on and so forth that actually puts them in line, so to speak, to move up that ladder to the majors? Because the majors are, again, exactly as they sound, they are the major event. Like, how would one go, like, what is step 1 through whatever?
I think your first step is to go to one of those third-party sites like ESEA or Faceit. ESEA hosts 2 seasons a year, and with stages of open, intermediate, main, premier, advanced, and then pro league. And when you get that, you start all the way down in open, and you have to work your way all the way up. And of course, every rank is tougher to get up to get into. It's harder competition. You start on open. I think the first, I don't know how many teams they get going up to intermediate, and then it's only a certain amount from there to main. And it's really hard to climb that. As far as majors go, it's Valve has these minors that have open qualifiers that you can go into, and you'll be facing teams probably within main and up for the most part that you'll see there. Especially then once you get to the very end of that qualifier, you're gonna get to those MDL, Premier, or low tier pro teams, which you're probably not gonna really stand a chance against, which is the toughest, unless of course you are on an MDL level. Then you have that little opportunity, just because of the skill gap that there is between professional, Premier, and then anything below that. Like even the gap between professional and Premier in North America is miles apart.
I'm not even gonna lie. I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds like you know your shit. So I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
So I think I can layman it out some. So
Thank
basically,
you.
you're saying to go to, if you go to these like the league websites, that
Yeah.
they're a good place to start grinding and seeing how you do literal grinding up a ladder against tougher and tougher opponents every single
Teams,
time.
yeah.
So,
you got
and-
teams.
do you have to win a certain amount of matches in each ladder, or is it like they do this whole like group thing and then they
So-
pick it out of which
It's
team
a
should
li-
move up?
It's just a league. You can sign up, like for open, for say, you make a team of 5, you go into that league, and I don't think there's an unlimited amount of teams that can go into open,
Gotcha.
and you play a certain amount of matches in a season, and then there's playoffs, and then if you do good in playoffs, you'll get advanced to the next stage.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, so like think of it kind of like if you're grinding GB ladders.
Exactly.
So you're moving up your rank on this site to continue playing better and better opponents, and that'll kind of give you an idea of where your skill is at. If you make it all the way to the top teams, then you might be ready to start trying your hand at going into the majors, open qualifiers, which I'm assuming are just like CWL Vegas was, where you would just pay to bring that team in.
Yeah.
And then that team will grind the stages within the majors sanctioned event, kind of like a CWL event.
Because it goes with the Americas minor, that's the open qualifier, and then like 4 teams from that make it to the closed qualifier, who play another 4 teams that were invited, and then just 4 of the only 2 of those teams I think move up to the closed, the entire minor itself, which is what's just happening right now.
So it's basically if you create a team, you're looking at a 2-year journey at least before you're even like, okay, yeah, we have a shot at majors.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Unless you're like really good. Like there's this one guy named, you probably know the name, might sound familiar, named Stewie 2K.
Yep.
No fucking clue.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
Does he play-
Basically,
I would recommend. There's a web or a YouTube channel called The Score Esports. They do a lot of story breakdowns of players and such things from different walks of esports. So like you can watch like players from League of Legends, CSGO.
So is it like
Call of Duty.
you know how they do the CWL Insider when they do like player profiles and shit? Is it like that? Like they interview
I
each
guess so.
player
Yeah, it's like each video is maybe 10 to 20 minutes long, depending on what it
Player
covers.
profiles are like 3
But
minutes.
No. This breaks down like
It's like a
where
documentary.
it's like a mini
Ooh.
documentary or a biography on
I'll have to
either a
check that out.
player. They like recently they did an entire breakdown of Call of Duty.
I'm not gonna lie, we
it
should
was
start
like-
doing that.
It was like 20 minutes. Yeah, man. Like that sounds
I
like
would
your
like
kind of
doing
vibe
that.
is.
It is very my vibe. I want to do it.
So
We
yeah,
should
I
do it.
definitely recommend that to anybody listening and
there you
stuff
go.
who's curious about players. But you were saying about Stewie 2K.
so basically what Stewie did is he was in, I don't know where he started. He started in open, but he somewhere along that journey, he made a big leap. He got onto this team called SKDC, which was a premier team at the time, and they were playing in like these CEVO Pro Leagues, this is like 2 years back, 2015 days. CEVO doesn't really do a Pro League anymore. It's really just ESL. But this Stewie, he was always on this Pug Star. He was known as this Pug Star. He played in what ESCA's rank S, which is literally just money tens, if you think of it like that, for pros. And if you do good in certain ranks if you're good, they'll move you up into this, and that's where Stewie got there, and that's where he kind of got that recognition. Within a little span of under, I think it was a year and a half, he went from starting CS to getting on his first pro team, which was January 2016, with Cloud9.
So you definitely would say it's easier to move up as a single individual than as an entire team.
Yes, you could say that, but then again, I wouldn't know. I never really did that. It's if you're a good team and you have good chemistry, like it's just talent comes like that. You beat talent.
Yeah, because I do
always
know.
Improve.
I know within CSGO they're like infamous for swapping people through different teams and rosters and all sorts of stuff. Like people get moved around a lot. Like who is that one super toxic but like insanely talented kid? Swag? Is that who I'm
No,
thinking
Swag was. You probably think it's Simple.
Simple. See, I knew it was one of those simple words.
Here's the thing, though. Simple was toxic back in when he first joined like Liquid in 2016 for that little short span. Nowadays, he's gone with that. Like it's a change guy.
Yeah.
Like I saw him in recent
grown
interviews.
after a
And
while, you know what I'm saying?
it's
Just too much to
praising his
lose after a
teammates.
while.
Exactly. He doesn't want to burn those bridges.
Exactly.
Because I know that he was just like an animal, but he was a toxic animal. So
Yeah,
those are the worst.
Bounced around.
They beat you, and then they talk shit to you and make you remember. Fucked up. I hate kids like that. Give me nightmares.
The thing is, what this Simple guy did during practice is he actually refused to practice with his team because one of his teammates was just too bad.
Wow.
He didn't want to practice with that guy.
Oh yeah, I think I think I know what you're talking about.
Damn, that's
It was
fucked
about
up.
the Kusa. It was with him and Kusa
Yeah.
at the time.
Dude,
He was.
I don't know if I'd be able to team with somebody like that. I might fucking fight him.
And now Kusa's
That's
actually.
fucked up.
I'm pretty sure there has been some like actual physical altercations between.
I
Major,
bet he
pro
sounds like a
players.
fucking dick.
I don't know about him himself, but
oh.
I do remember seeing something about some hands being thrown in hotels.
Yeah,
or something.
I'll throw fucking hands at a land. You best
Oh, you're
believe that
thinking.
shit.
You're thinking about KNG.
K&G is that?
He
Yeah, he's an all-star.
FNS, some guy who played for CLG at the time. He made a joke about Immortals partying in their room, and then this one guy who plays for Immortals, KNG, he made a threat, and he's like, "Prove it or I'll kill you," or something along those
Yeah,
lines.
dude, it's a it's a crazy scene. Like that's why I'm like genuinely curious as to how people get into this. I'm like, who brought this dude in here?
And then he goes and joins 100 Thieves. I think it was a couple months
KNG?
later.
The guy who threatened to kill somebody?
Oh yeah, and then
Oh fuck
and then
that!
he,
I'm good.
You know, it gets better. Thorin ended up making a similar joke. Thorin, he's been in esports for a long time, just about probably 10, or not even 10, 20 years almost. Got to be around that time. Dang. He actually made a post on Twitter making fun about KNG about this topic, and so KNG made some weird ass stupid reply, completely toxic and out of line, about making love to his boyfriend or something. So then, of course, 100 Thieves didn't like that very much.
No, he's getting drunk.
And they ended up kicking him and the entire team.
Oh,
Jesus.
what a dick!
And
Yo,
that
they
was-
hate him. They hate him. Oh
They-
my
Oh,
god.
that happens a lot. Like if
One
one
person
player
fucks
like
it up
is
for the
way out of
whole
line,
team.
they'll
Oh
Yeah,
my
though.
god.
That team.
That's why I don't like
didn't
people
even-
that talk too much. You fuck it up for the rest. Oh my
Absolutely.
Hey,
god. I'd
what are
be
you
so
saying? What are
mad.
you saying?
That team didn't even play one actual match together under the organization, 100 Thieves. They got
Jesus.
dropped before the major they were supposed to
God.
compete at.
I would be so
I'm-
angry.
I was gonna say because I never heard of 100 Thieves in CS:GO.
It was about a 2-month span.
Yeah,
Not even.
that's-
Oh my god.
Man,
And
poor
then
100 Thieves because they go all out when they bring somebody
yeah.
in.
And I don't know if Nate Shot has ever mentioned bringing another CS team to 100 Thieves. I'm sure they're looking, but they're not
Fuck
gonna
that.
pull a trigger on
Let's just
something.
Yeah,
anyway.
I feel like the owner, or not an owner, but investors probably like,
That
let's hold
sounds
off on that
dicey
for
as
now.
fuck. Nah.
Yeah. Last time didn't go so well. So we'll wait a little bit.
Yeah, wait till everything franchises, then we'll
So-
look into it.
Then earlier, like 6 months ago, KNG made an apology post. It was less than 6 months ago. It was probably like 2 or 3. He made an apology post, and everyone forgave him. And he's now playing again.
Nah, he's still
Jesus.
a psycho.
He's
Anyways,
still absolutely.
all right. What are your opinions on the COD scene, and how should one take their route to become successful within that scene?
Okay, so the same question, but
Yeah,
Call of
same.
Duty.
Same question, just Call of Duty.
Opinions on the Call of Duty scene to
That fucking
become
bitch is still toxic. It
successful.
will always be toxic.
Oh, absolutely toxic,
Toxic.
egos, toxic.
Egos,
That
yeah.
describes Call of Duty.
That
All right,
is
next
Call of Duty.
question. So to become
shit's
successful with you, Icy has a pretty good idea on how that works.
Yeah, you know.
Basically, it's climbing that GB ladder, playing those 2Ks, getting pro points, going to LAN events, getting out of open bracket. It's
Yeah.
a lot more simple than CSGO, and it can be a lot faster than CSGO if
Oh,
you
for
have
sure.
the talent.
As long as you're
See,
winning,
that was
and
my-
you're making a name for yourself, you're fucking golden.
And there's a lot more events for Call of Duty for open events than there is ESCA leagues in a year.
And
Yeah,
you
plu-
don't even
plus
have
Call
to
of
do
Duty is,
CWL leagues. You could just do outside leagues. Like in the northeastern part of the United States, there's NJ Rod, so they have tournaments in Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey, and they do those like every month, and they're like
Yeah.
$5,000 every
Cool.
tournament.
Hey,
Oh, I'm
might
moving
might
up
need
to
to
the
start
Northeast.
looking into that.
Yeah, NJ Rod. They do like 17 plus or 16 plus.
And
Those are
J-Rod.
what a lot of younger kids do when they're looking to get into the CWL. They get their LAN experience from NJ Rod, and they start working up their talent, working up, their scene, getting LAN experience. So when they do work up towards that level to get into CWL, they already have it because they've been playing in NJ Rod. They have stuff like that in the South as well. There's one in Texas, I think, and there's another one in California.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
So, so we might need to look into NJ Rod.
Yeah, NJ
But,
Rod for East Coast.
Go ahead, Reapers. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I took your thunder. I'm sorry, pal.
Hold up.
It's just called
My mic and my Discord is taking a massive shit right now.
Oh, shit.
It was that entire
Got it.
conversation has been cut out, and
Aw,
I understood
dude.
nothing of it.
Damn.
Jesus.
I don't know why this is happening. Anyways, it's better now, but it'll happen again in a minute.
I don't know if I'll be able to repeat myself. That was... I went off on a
No,
tangent.
you're cool. We'll keep it all. We'll keep it all.
I'll watch the podcast over, and then we'll see what it says.
But so it's definitely easier to move up with Call of Duty than CS:GO or really any other esport. Now that being said, not trying to throw any shade, but I think it's because of the fact that it's so new, but it came so structured from the beginning. Like it straight out the gate was like there was obviously the lower tier GB days when game battles were still getting started, but when they were founding all this, they had CSGO already established. They had League of Legends already established, kind of stuff. Like they had these role models, so to speak. Or no, I think it was StarCraft at the time was the big one. But they had these already established role models from Europe and Asia to look at. And we're like, well, these are what they're doing right and these are what they're doing wrong. So I think this is how we should structure it. Like, me personally, I think that's why it's a little bit simpler to move up in this North America-based esport, is that it came so late to NA that it was a
But
good
they did
thing.
have a lot of like mentors to follow, like you said. To go off what you said, they did have a lot of examples to follow, and they put the best from each one into one league. I think that's probably like what you said. They had so many examples to
Yeah.
follow.
America's best thing is copying
America.
other people.
Mark.
Nothing better.
Nothing better. Well, that and McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
So
Kind of a Wendy's guy,
esports
I'm not
and
gonna
its
lie.
past. Oh, cut.
That's it.
Or Taco Bell.
So
Or Chick-fil-A. I'm sorry.
So we've kind of touched on this a little bit. What do you think about esports past and its future growth moving forward?
So esports in its past, I mean, when I first joined esports, it was it was nothing compared to what it is now.
Now it's tiny. Not a lot of people know about it.
It was in the verge of blowing up, but it wasn't quite there yet.
Mm-hmm. Now everybody fucking knows what it is.
Now you see it on TV.
Yeah.
Back then, you were lucky to find.
They only had Halo on TV, right?
Exactly.
They only had Halo.
Halo. Halo was one of the longest standing esports titles, up there with CS. And those two, they didn't really blow up until 2015 when CSGO was like the game of the year for everybody. They were streaming it. Everybody was playing it. Everyone was watching tournaments. But then, as that went on, those tournaments, they became every weekend. And then that's kind of what caused CS to die down. And then these new esports titles like PUBG or Rocket League came in, and they kind of built their own esports growth, which is actually, they're pretty big. I wouldn't say Rocket League's esports scene is pretty small. It gets a couple 100,000 viewers. I think the last time I watched them, the finals at one of their tournaments.
Can I just make a comment on this? So I think I realized how big esports actually is becoming when on my buddy's birthday back in October, we decided to go to a Taco Mac. And if you don't know what a Taco Mac is, it's basically like
I don't know what the fuck it is.
A Taco Mac's like a sports bar and grill kind of deal. Like it's but it's like a chain, so it's it's a pretty large place.
Does it have tacos
one of those
with
with
cheese?
It's kind of like Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that. Like it's got it's got all those TVs and everything, and on like half the TVs there's stuff going for League of Legends. I was like, what? There's League of Legends on.
Were you about to
I was like, dude, I was sitting there. I was like, dude, there's fucking League of Legends on the fucking TV in a sports bar. What?
I saw the same thing. Not the same thing, but last December of 2017, we ended up going to the bar, some friends and I, and we saw, actually, I was watching the TV there, it was on the score, and they actually brought up a little bit of a show, like a bit, or not even a bit, it was just a video of like the SK CSGO players at the time, and they had them like their little events and their success run over the year. It was a little bit, I didn't really get to hear much of it because there was music blaring in the back, but it had a video, and there was actually in a bar, esports related, even if it was score, they had it, the score itself had an esports bit on there.
Yeah, see, if I'm not mistaken, the Score Esports is actually owned by ESPN. If I'm actually triple checking.
You just looked that shit up. Yeah.
I
could tell you were looking it up.
Yeah. I'm certain almost that it's owned by it's owned by the John Levy family. So are they the ones who own? Let's see. What do they own? Nothing.
First
on
time I ever
Wikipedia
saw esports on TV though. Wait, were you talking?
What? No, I'm cool.
Oh, shit.
I was just basically, if I'm not mistaken, ESPN owns the Score, which would make sense as to why if you see something on TV, it's probably being run by ESPN. If I'm not mistaken.
Talking about what now?
What?
What's being run by ESPN?
The Score Esports. It's the thing I was telling you to check out on YouTube.
Esports. Oh.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, they were like created by like a sports network. It might not be ESPN. I might be quoting it wrong, but I do know that somebody who's in the sports industry is the one who ended up creating the Score.
Gotcha.
And so it's being built. It looks and it appears on the surface as like a normal like company that was just kind of created by some dudes or something, but in reality it was funded, invested in, and created by a sports network kind of deal, because they know they see the growth that's happening and that there is an audience for it, so they are trying to. Yeah, there's money to be made.
Oh
like
yeah.
So now But
Millions
that's
of
a good
dollars.
thing. Like it's a really good thing that like I know a lot of people are against some of these kinds of deals, but I think it's truly a good thing that it's being picked up on by like actual national television style companies, because though they might, not do it the best way or whatever, they have a history of doing analytics and such things very well for sports. So why would it be any different with esports? That means it's being adopted by real sports people. You feel me?
Ja, feel me, brother. Yeah, I got you.
Ja feel me.
Yeah, but back to just to add something earlier to that earlier question. It's like back in 2015, you had esports running off sponsors. You didn't see a single esports organization. Maybe like what I mentioned, EG being owned by Twitch, being the only one I think at the time that was actually owned by a corporate company. Up until 2 years later, when it started happening, where like you got Liquids getting bought out by esports or getting investors into the esports scene. You got Drake coming to 100 Thieves.
Oh yeah,
And
so now
that's when those guys realized esports was profitable and they pushed their way in.
Well, see, from what I'm understanding, Drake isn't so much pushing in with the esports side of things. That because Nate Shot actually just did a little short interview with Travis, I want to say, if you know who I'm talking about, the guy who does
Travis
a lot
Gafford.
of yeah,
Travis
does a lot
Scott?
of interviews of players and stuff. not Travis Scott.
Oh, sorry.
But
quite.
Nate Shot said that he there might be future plans of some 100 Thieves with OVO and such like that, like Drake brand clothing. So it looks like he's gonna be more on the designing
Yeah.
collaboration side of things.
Yeah, I just know that he has like a stake in 100 Thieves, so he did invest into it, so he has part ownership of the organization.
Oh yeah. He dropped some bills on it, but
Throw some beans, man.
That's probably for the League of Legends team to get back into LCS.
Yeah, right. They need to start booking
It's
it.
like it's $1 million buy-in. I think it was 10,
10
maybe even
10
10 million.
You're bugging out.
And
It
you
is-
get franchise in there for
Can't do it.
3
for life.
years?
It's for
three-
life.
3 seasons, I think it was, and then you have a chance to get removed.
Yeah,
then you
accuracy.
find
Get
your
your shit
location.
together.
What?
Get your
Yeah.
shit together, accuracy.
Hey, no. I was just watching something on
No.
this. If
No.
I'm not mistaken, it's a $10 million
No.
buy-in for life. It might be $1 million for the 3 seasons
Oh, okay.
or something like that. Because I just watched this interview like 2 days ago or something like that, where
Okay.
Nate Shot talked about all this. So Icy, if you didn't know, the way that League of Legends like main thing works is you can buy your way into the main like majors and such things like
you
that.
can't get dropped.
Yeah, well, not that you can't get dropped. I feel like you still have to
You
have
can,
to
yeah.
abide by Riot.
Say you
Like,
go 0 for
they
12.
still-
Are you still in the league?
Yes.
probably. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
Because
can
it's-
do
it's
you can have a trash
franchised.
year.
It's a franchise league now. And
Yeah. So
Which-
you basically purchase your slot. Like if you were buying a McDonald's, once
It's
you
like-
buy it, as long as you don't violate the agreement, you're straight.
So
And then,
you
yeah.
could go 0 for 12 for 4 years and you will not drop out of the league.
I don't think so.
I mean, you might personally want to.
There will be massive roster changes made in the process to make that 0-12 not happen the next
Yeah,
split.
If you buy in for $10 million, you're not going 0-12 4 years.
Well, I
in a
know.
row.
I'm just saying though. Just what if it happened? Like, sorry.
Yeah.
Would they
Yeah, no,
drop
they-
out
they-
of the league?
They cannot drop you for being doo-doo.
Okay.
No, it's like OWL or Overwatch League. It's you pay 20 million and you're in, and then they have all these teams.
Yeah,
in and now
Shanghai.
they're
The Shanghai
expanding.
Dragons went like 0 12.
Yeah, they
Dookie.
did. And then now there's actually talks about Call of Duty becoming franchise next year.
Yes, that was something I wanted to expand on a little bit more with this question. Is what do you think about the whole like because I still am not 100% on franchising. I started reading a couple articles on it, but never made my way all the way through them in time. So like as far as franchising, how would it work if Call of Duty was to switch to franchising?
I'm guessing is that the current
think it
teams
loses all
that
the grit.
make it in the
Keep it
CWL get a chance to franchise and they get a secured spot in the CWL league, which is what I'm
For
thinking.
me, I
is
think
something
it
like that.
loses all the point of grinding.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't want Call of Duty to franchise. You know,
No.
the biggest part
see-
is working up to that CWL. You know, that CWL
Well, if I'm
name.
not mistaken though,
What's the
the
point?
way that it would work is that like you could have like because they were talking about it when they were talking about it a while back. Hex and Nadeshot when they were on the Eavesdrop podcast, they were talking about basically like if they franchised, they could have like you could have your kind of how you have your Pittsburgh Steelers or your whatever you would have your Cleveland 100 Thieves or whatever.
No, I know, but
Chicago
I don't
100 Thieves.
I don't like that
And,
at all.
But
I
but
don't.
it would apparently benefit the players themselves a lot.
But if it's anything like the OWL, they're not even going to be able to use their real team or organization names. They're going to have to get something like the Houston Outlaws, for example.
The Houston Outlaws is owned by Optic, but you know it's not Optic. It's the
It's
Houston
their
Outlaws. It's their
OWL
own
name.
brand. You know
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I don't want Call of Duty to franchise because buying into it, you know, that's taking the whole Call of Duty grind out of it. What's the
Yeah.
point of buying into a league when you could just grind your way to the top? Like that's pretty much like taking the shortcut.
Well, I mean,
where's all the
but
work?
it is.
then it's like it's only those major teams who are buying in, which still leaves the
You could be a
grind
no-name
open
and
for
buy
the
in.
smaller players.
You could be a no-name and buy in.
This
Oh,
actually works. This actually works perfectly into that midnight esports situation is
Yes. Yeah.
because now they have a team and they can afford, but they're not paying these big salaries like these other pro teams. If this was a franchise league, these teams would be making X amount guaranteed a year if you make it to the league.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so the grind would still exist for these younger players, but the orgs, it would be a lot bigger of a problem for. It would be like you
There's
can't
no
create
growth.
a Call of Duty org unless you're.
There's no
You know,
opportunity for any organization outside of the franchise leagues to make it known in Call of Duty once it's franchised.
Yeah, like I think that's the toughest part, which is why I still think that the whole content first, esports second role or model that Optic went with and continues with is still a very solid one where basically you build up the brand through those who are like that you have your pro players doing these 2Ks or whatever and you are sharing that and people like that. If they see the team is good, you're going to gain traction with fans, and that's the biggest part is you got to connect with fans or else you're just not money doesn't matter if you don't have any fans.
Yeah.
Kind of
It's
deal.
actually-
Like
Yeah.
It's actually a weird thing about Optic is the other day I saw an article about them and their own company, Infinite, is actually selling their company. The guy who owns it is selling it right now. So technically Optic's for sale.
oh, really?
See, but
Hey.
to continue off what you said entertainment, you know, can you repeat what you said about the entertainment, please?
Oh, okay. So like right here. So like how we're doing this podcast, right? Like my goal with the podcast is like money aside from anything in the future. My goal with the podcast is to have people who want to know about esports, about CSGO, to spread more of that, to give tips, advice, the best that I can with the different guests that I have. Not just esports. I have a guy planned who does art and stuff like that. But that's streaming related. You know, I want to teach people something, give them something that they want and that will help them pursue their career faster. 'Cause
No, but I meant with Optic, how you said entertainment over esports. Doesn't
Oh
that
no
just
no.
give?
So Optic when they first started out, if you can go back and Hex does a vlog and stuff like that, and I think he might have been talking about it in his podcast, in the Eavesdrop podcast, is where I heard it. I can't cite my sources very well, but I do know it was Hex who was speaking about it, where they were talking about the old Optic house. They were all live streaming every day because of the fact that he realized that it was growing the brand faster than trying to pursue it straight through Call of Duty's esports side. And at that time, esports wasn't as large as it is, but he just recently revisited that conversation where he still says he's content first, like how Scump streams all the time. Scump is killing it now. But regardless of if Scump played another tournament in his life, he would still be set off his stream. He just had a 1,600 sub train yesterday on Twitch, and then his internet cut out. that means that dude, like Scump, he's still a kid. You can still call him a kid. He's still young. He just made an extra $7,000 last night alone after Twitch fees. Taxes, different thing, but after Twitch fees, he just made an extra $7,000 for this month in one day because he's doing his content first. People are recognizing him. People appreciate what he's doing. People enjoy watching him. So not only is he making a killing on his own, but he's still bringing Optic's name up with him.
Not to mention, he's also got a salary from Optic himself.
Yeah, and so, regardless of being a pro player, the reason why it's content first is because the brand's name, if it's tied to somebody who's doing well, as far as like how we have this as the Absolute Rain podcast, if it does well, it brings Absolute Rain up with us. So even if we might be the face at the moment, like how Matthew Nadeshot was the face of Optic for years, and now Scump is the face of Optic. And, Hex is there. People appreciate Hex. Hex has a lot of fans himself.
Hex is the reason Optic is where it is today.
Yeah. Like, Hex is like the brain of the machine. But at the same time, without his Nadeshot, without his Scump being who they were on live streams, like, you still see the clip all the time of, like, Nadeshot twerking or whatever it was. Like, those things are what built Optic. It wasn't because they just did extremely well in tournaments. That helped the players themselves make their money. That helped the esports scene come up more in NA. But their live streaming and everything is what brought Optic to the main stage.
But with all that entertainment, with all the entertainment, doesn't that keep the bigger organizations bigger and the smaller organizations smaller? See, what I'm trying to say is the bigger organizations take all the limelight, right? Everyone's watching them. What happens to the smaller organizations that can't franchise, but they're doing well? They have good players. They're making money off the tournaments, but no one's seeing them because, the franchising, the entertainment, everyone's watching, Optic.
Well, if
you
set aside the franchising, Midnight Esports is actually, he brought it up earlier, it's a perfect example of this. Midnight did not build a fan base before they made it to Pro League. They are now considered one of the best teams of this year right now in COD. Yet because of the fact that they had no fans, no following, nobody knew the players. All it took was one player kind of snapping, and Midnight is pushed down. Midnight hasn't been blowing up on Twitter. There's not a whole lot of people like, oh man, I want to be a part of Midnight. No, it's because they didn't build a fan base. They don't have that. So even if they secure that really good team in a really good slot, all that people want to do is, okay, you should sell that team to FaZe. So FaZe can get put in the Pro League. And you'll make some cash, so what do you care? But I personally think that Midnight's doing the right thing when they say,
spot, dude. What?
They say, look, we found this team. We got these dudes together. We've been working together. Like think about it like you and me. Like we know each other. We like that. Like we couldn't just like drop like that. Like you know what I mean?
No.
And so we
FaZe. They weren't good enough. They could stay on, bro. Fuck that. I'm not selling my team. Fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, but because of that, there's been all this controversy around this smaller team making it, and that's without a franchise. That's just if you don't build that fan base, if you can't bring your own audience with you, then at the same time, you don't nobody's gonna appreciate when you make it.
If you're making the money off the tournaments, then what's the point of having fans if you're making the money and you're being successful?
Absolutely.
What's the point? That's just being.
That's what I'm saying.
That's like being the bully. Everyone's paying attention to you being the bully because they want to see. Okay. This is what I'm trying to say. Since FaZe is so popular, everyone's so upset with them not making it. It's like they're so used to seeing FaZe be successful that when they didn't make it, they were like, "What is this? Who are these guys? We don't like the outsiders." That's like picking on them almost. You know what I'm saying?
I
they made it. Like what? No.
I 100% believe
fuck
that it
fans.
will change if they bring themselves up through the Pro League very well. Then I do believe they'll gain fans and traction through that. But that's also one of the things is that it's still the org that is going to suffer in the end. Like the org may come up some, but most people are still going to look at the players, not the org. Whereas if the players were doing the good thing and being like, yeah, no, this org is fucking awesome, instead of like trying to get out of their contract or whatever. If they were to do that, build that fan base, start realizing that they can continue their career without just jumping ship to another team, then it would have brought them and the organization up together versus, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why the content first idea is like even Luminosity does it. Like look at Luminosity streamers compared to like their pro teams. These orgs that get big, they have these people that are their face. If you don't have the you have to build connections with people. It's like making a new friend. All of your fans are like new friends. You want to they want to understand you and you want to understand them. And it's the same with gaming, like how Fortnite always fucks up because they don't listen to their fan base and such things like that.
But if you're focusing so much on building up fans, then how are you going to get good in the competitive scene? That's exactly.
Well,
like,
no, you do it.
They're so big, but they couldn't even have a team good enough to make it into the fucking league. Like, where does that make sense?
That's also. I think FaZe transitioned too hard into like vlogging and such things. They worried
so much about building up a fan base that they didn't even have people to compete good enough in the league. That doesn't even make sense. That's why I use Optic as the example, because Optic won back in Vegas. They secured their spot back in December, and since then, Scump's been streaming and building this huge. Scump hit like over 100K viewers on his own personal channel while playing like a 2K back in October.
Against
like
United.
Yeah, exactly. And so like that's the thing is like it's doing them in unison, but that content has to exist. If you're just a face who people only see on stage or the occasional Instagram photo, you're going to still gain some fans, but it's not going to be anything like these guys we're in the age where live streaming and playing at the same time is so easy to do that there really is no reason to not. There is no reason to not build that fan base and that org's fan base up at the same time by live streaming your 2Ks or whatever.
No, I don't like
connection be damned if you still do well. If you're really a GOAT, then you'll get it.
I prefer working on your craft than working on this is like, how can I explain it? That's like being, I'd rather work on my craft. Okay, exactly. Practice behind closed door. Oh, I can't remember what MJ said, but talent. Working hard beats talent when talent fails to work hard. You know what I'm saying? That's like FaZe.
I've seen that quote before.
Exactly. That's like FaZe. They are so good, but they're worried about making the money rather than putting the time and the effort into becoming a good team in Call of Duty. Midnight went against all the odds. They beat all the odds. They were the underdog, and they came up. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see these smaller orgs taking control of CWL, taking control of CSGO and this and that and the third to become, that underdog. I want to see the underdogs compete. I'm tired of seeing Optic. I'm tired of seeing FaZe, EG, United. I'm tired of seeing all these big name brands when there are so many good players out there that aren't getting the recognition they deserve. I want to see Midnight rise all the way straight to the top. I want to see them win champs. I want to see them defy the odds. I want to see the underdog win. Because when talent fails to work hard, that's where Midnight comes in. They defy the odds. I don't want to work on your craft.
I'm not saying that it's I think you're misinterpreting. I'm not saying that it's bad to have a team that does do that. I'm just saying that the correct quote unquote way of going about it is to do them in unison, so that way when you make that big jump, even if it only like it shouldn't realistically, if you're a good player, like if you're that solid of a team, then getting to that level, like to where you can get to that level, then it shouldn't have really been an issue on the grind up, if that makes sense, to build some fans up. Like they have a few fans. They had like a K subscribers or something like that on Twitter and such, or followers on Twitter and such, and they're not tiny, but they are a super small organization, which I feel like with that much talent on hand, the players would have still been able to get to the level they're at right now, but could have also been, obviously there are restrictions financially for some people and some players from being able to live stream, and if they can't, they can't. That's simple facts. But, post some shit on YouTube. Build your audience the way that you can, even if you have somebody dedicated to making videos, like how I'm doing with like Flatched and Hawk and stuff like that. Like I'm making their videos for them, so that way we can still post some content. Grow our fan base through content while they focus on their craft. All they have to do is, if they have some good games, they clip it back. They don't even record while they're playing, so there's literal no interruption from it at all, but people can still see them and see what they're about, see how they play, or bring people on the podcast so they can know who they are, such as Reapers or Crucified,
I don't know. I just
or
think we see
Razorburn.
it differently. I'd rather work behind closed doors than work, in the open air. You know what I'm saying?
But that, yeah, I'm not even saying that you have to stream every day, show everything you do. Just, grow that fan base a little bit, so that way when you do make it, you got people to be like, yeah, man, you were here when I was down there.
I'm not,
yeah. It's like those couple of friends, like how Reaper's got his Smash buddies. Like, if he makes it and he brings them into the org, now he's bringing them up with him, versus just kind of letting them continue on their like low end Smash tournaments. He could be like, yo, come on, we got the funding. We'll put you into some like real shit.
Wait, how did that go
and
from?
then you give more
now I'm
opportunity.
confused. How'd you get that?
No.
From
I'm just
entertainment. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm saying as you're growing the brand, as you're growing everything, then the brand itself can help to fund you or future smaller people. Like you can, okay, so now we've built the brand, we've got the money, we've got a good COD team. Now we can afford, like how Midnight just announced they're bringing on an AM team. So like I agree with that 100%. Where you're starting to bring up these smaller players with you, but with the content first kind of deal, it does give players a reason to, or players, fans, and an organization some funding money, if that makes sense. Because like if this content's going on there, the players get their cut, the org gets their cut, players are taken care of, organizations taken care of, and fans are taken care of. So when you're doing it where you balance everything, everybody gets taken care of. And when you make that big leap into a, hey, look, we're fucking COD pros now you've got the fans already. Now you gain more fans. You're able to pick up new, smaller teams, smaller players, because you're still fresh, you're still new, but you've also still got that fan base. You still had some extra funding along the way to help get to that point.
But if you're playing well, what do you need the funding for? If you're playing well,
if
you're making money.
Well,
if you're playing well, you're definitely making money. You don't need like outside.
Because there are still,
you don't need outside sources if you're making the money from the Call of Duty team if they're playing so well.
I've got a really good example. My homie Cross, who used to do COD and shit, his PS4 just shit out on him. Granted, he got lucky with some shit. Like, homeboy got a donation, by the way, from Summit 1G. Summit 1G was talking with him in his chat, and they were talking about building a gaming computer, and he PayPal'd Cross $600. Homeboy just got like hyped up from Summit 1G, but no, so his PS4 just shit out. So like if you're a small org and your team's getting ready to go and all that, and then one of the players' PS4 shits out, they may not have $400, or not 400, but 300, whatever it is, to just kind of like sling out and buy that PlayStation for the kid. Whereas if they have this background with fans and are making something, they may have that funding to be able to shill out, bring that player on with a new PS4, or the funding can also help them to take an extra day off from work every week, giving them more time to practice, more time to perfect that craft, because all the fans are doing are they're enjoying the content, and the content's paying for the players to be able to take that time away to get their craft better. If that makes sense.
I don't
so
know. We just went on a tangent. We
We've
spent 40 minutes on this yeah. We went way off topic. We spent 40 fucking minutes talking about the same thing.
I mean, it's still about
It's
the
a good
future
one,
and the
yeah,
growth and everything.
All right.
I'm just saying, like, these aren't necessarily my words. Like, some of them are, but these were things taken from existing big organizations that started from a grind. And it's I don't know, it's one of those things, you know? It's like a key component in the how to grow in esports.
I don't know. I
And
just
how
want to see
esports will
Midnight
grow.
go against the grain and still make it. I guess that's
Oh,
where
no,
I'm coming from.
I
want to see
I'm
Midnight
still-
go against the grain and make it. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like there was no shade thrown in that direction. I think that was just a misinterpretation, is that I wasn't saying that they shouldn't make it. I was saying that because they made it yet had so few fans, yes, it was a shocker, and yes, it's kind of like an underdog story. But at the
Everyone
same
loves the underdog
time,
story. They're gonna make a lot. They're gonna make a lot of fans off that underdog story. Everyone loves seeing an underdog win, except when it's against a big fucking big org like FaZe. But I mean,
FaZe
FaZe
are
had
out.
it coming.
Yeah,
FaZe had it coming because they didn't even whatever, dude. They didn't put the fucking work in. So you know what I'm saying?
yeah, and that's what I was saying.
You
It's just,
can't. You
we-
can't
we were-
expect
we were-
to see.
we were talking about like the growth of esports as a whole, and that's why I was saying that about the content. Is I feel like building those fans for these smaller teams is what will help with growing those teams and so on and so forth, to be able to compete on those optic phase levels. So how you were saying, because we were talking about franchising, to be able to franchise, you've got to build that fan base, and you might be able to do it by just jumping in and making a splash, but that's one team and how many were able to do it that way. You know, and that's the big part is it's so difficult for so many of these smaller teams to get funding. Like we have had players in the past who like don't even have $5 for wager matches type shit. Like they have to start somewhere, and so that funding is important to get them to start moving forward. And then
I got you.
with the content, you're able to start gaining more money to fund players to continue with content grinding and
I don't have a problem with that.
eventually making it.
It's that when an org focuses so much on entertainment that it takes away from the players being able to succeed. You know what I'm saying? Just like
Oh
fans.
yeah, yeah.
They focus so much on the
entertainment.
entertainment that they expected to fucking make the pro league. The fans expected they expected FaZe to make the pro league, but they didn't even put the fucking work into it. How are you gonna expect to see results when you don't even put the fucking work into it? That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Midnight put the
I
work in.
100% agree with you.
They put the work in. They got the result. FaZe, the complete fucking opposite. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's like I saw a post on Trading Shots the other day, Pat, and I retweeted it onto my Twitter. It's what Pac-Man said. He actually ended up relevant to this topic is basically like there's people complaining about the format, that it sucked, that teams couldn't get in. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with the format. It's just you didn't perform the day you should have. It doesn't matter how you did at Vegas. It doesn't matter how you placed there. It's just you didn't perform that day, and you were outperformed by the other everyone else.
Don't make
100%. 100%.
You have to put the next topic. Future
Next topic.
future esports titles on the rise. What do you? Okay, hold on. I gotta chill out for a second. What titles do you expect to see on the rise for esports?
Noticeably, I could see Rainbow Six is growing. I don't know. It wasn't very big a year ago, but recently it's been making a surge, and I've been watching a lot of it this year. So it's one of the esports titles I think is on the rise.
I want
Up
to see
there
their
with-
console league come back. They used to have a console league, and they weren't getting enough viewership, so they had to close it down and go to
No.
PC. I want to see that.
They went to PC now, yeah, and they have
wanna
the
see them bring out
Invitational
that
in like
console.
2 weeks.
I want to see them bring their console league back. If they get popular enough, I want to see that console league come back. But that's when Rainbow Six first came out. That they had.
So our 6, they want to like last 10 years or so with this game. That like they want it to basically be Rainbow Six CSGO. Do you think they have that potential?
I mean, if they can continue to constantly let out new operators, new updates, if they can continue to keep the game exciting and refreshing, I think they can. But the thing is, Destiny actually said the same thing about the first game. They said it was going to last for 10 years. That game, Destiny 2, came out 3 years later. Because they ran out of ideas, and the game was just repetitive, the same thing.
CSGO is like that though, isn't it? Like they don't really change much on a regular basis.
You're correct. apart from the skins, is what keeps a lot of players, or used to keep a lot of people in it because of the gambling and stuff. And then occasionally Valve releases new skins. They release new little updates, like they added Danger Zone, and that brought a lot of new people in, right?
Yeah.
It's just
So you like that's my thing is I don't know if I've never played.
I got
R6,
bored. I got
so
bored
I
of
don't-
Rainbow Six after a while. I was playing it for a while,
me too.
a good month or 2 months or 3 months, but I started getting bored of it. So I don't. Do I think they'll make it for another 10 years? If they change up something, if they drastically change Rainbow, then maybe. But me,
Yeah, I don't think
That's
they're
a no
gonna
for
do
me.
I
a
don't know
drastic.
if a game
I think-
can last
No.
10 years.
I don't think the game will be able to last
One
10
game
years.
alone,
It's
because you
dry.
have-
It's dry. It's
Yeah.
getting dry. It's getting old. We've seen it time and time again. I want to see a change drastically.
Yeah, add some new maps.
Add some new maps, maybe a different
game modes.
Game modes, yes. Game modes, maybe a different perspective. I don't know. Maybe a different movement system. I don't know. Change up R6 a little bit.
Yeah.
Try to veer away from that R6 path and make it, a little bit different. I don't know. I want to see a change. If they
I agree.
change it,
I
then
agree.
maybe I'll see it. But from the way it's going right now, yes, it's on the rise, but do I think it's going to be, a 10-year game? I'm sorry.
When I say ride, I mean it just had like an unusual spike
Yeah.
in viewership from what
Yeah.
it used to have.
I just don't.
pretty much.
I don't see it. That 10 years, I don't see
You
it.
don't see it?
Nope.
No,
I don't know,
agree.
man.
I feel like no game should be able to last 10 years without changing something or releasing a new game or
Oh well,
something
yeah. I
to
mean,
it.
like their whole plan is to like I think if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, they do like big server shutdowns and huge like massive undertakings on their game here and there. Like it's sparse, but it does happen where they do like major changes
Mm-hmm.
from what I've heard. And so like that kind of deal, that just when I heard it, I was like, yeah, then maybe it could last 10 years if they're taking proper care. It's it's like a car. If you take proper care of it, it definitely will last 10 years. It's just my thing is if it's on the rise, they definitely need to pull some fans in, because I remember playing like Rainbow Six Vegas 2 was my big one, and I definitely would be down to watch some R6. So I do hope that it ends up making it to one of these bigger stages, because that'd be pretty dope. Have that flashback, but
Mhm.
new Rainbow Six.
Hey,
I agree.
I
who
also
knows?
the only downside to it for me on the esports side of things is it seems like a game that if you don't play, it's very difficult to understand.
Yes, I didn't play it. I didn't really know what was going on, but my friends started playing it, so they got me into it because I lived with them at one point in an apartment together. So we all played pretty much together all the time.
Yeah,
So they started
like
playing R6, and I got into it, and that's how it got in for me. And then we
Like
ended
that-
up.
oops, sorry, go ahead.
So we ended up just watching we just set up our TV in the living room, and we had the R6, the Pro League finals. It was between Liquid and Penta, and that was the first time I've ever seen those guys actually watch anything esports, and we actually ended up watching that entire game, and we were into it, man. Like it was intense.
Mhm.
Man, I need some friends
It's the
like
best
that near
feeling.
me.
And we
'Cause, yeah, no.
we jumped and screamed when Liquid won.
I would say it's definitely on the rise, and if there's already major teams competing for major competitions,
The thing is,
that'll
there's one thing about R6, and that is actually what the EG's current COO talked about a couple weeks ago. Is R6 or Ubisoft promised some sort of pilot program, is where they would bring these organizations in and they would cover the players' salaries, I believe it was, and they would fund these teams to come into, or pay them to come into R6.
so it was like a sponsorship kind of
Yeah,
deal.
exactly. But EG joined, and people say EG only joined because of this. Yes, but EG also joined before this actually was put in place.
So maybe it'll gain traction here soon, because like I said, I've never particularly sought it out, but we do have some R6 players coming on in a couple of weeks, where we'll get a little bit in depth with all that as well.
Yeah.
So we'll save some of this for that. So when you talked a little bit about you having a history in trying to start your own esports organization. So where should somebody start when starting to build an organization? Whether it be like, should they spend 3 months planning, or should they just jump into it, or what are some
Personally,
steps?
I think you should plan and get some people behind it with you. For one, I was just kind of like, I kind of wanted to do this, and I just did it. Young me made a bad decision, hopped into it, made an esports org. One friend I knew, and we just went from there with no real preparation and no real ideas of what we were gonna do. We just hopped in and did it.
Yeah, see, because the way I grew up was I didn't really plan to join an esports organization, so to speak, but it is reminiscent. Back in the day on COD, there was all sorts of these clans and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like that sounds more like what you're talking about, would be more of like creating a clan. And I feel like an organization is like a whole new beast now. It's like such a, like, you're building a business. You're not just building like a, hey, let's hang out and play. And so like, where should somebody look to start building that business? Like, what do they, do they need to look into? Okay, I need to have this much money. I need to, or do you still believe in the just make your attempt in the best way that you see fit kind of deal?
If you have to do with what you can, you have to play it as you go, because unexpected stuff can happen, right?
100%. So they should just kind of like start off like have a team of your.
Start off with a rough draft.
Yeah,
and then
like
see where that takes you.
Stick with one game, have one team, and you probably participate in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then move on from there, pick up another team, or step back. And
you start one project and don't start another one before you finish that project.
I like that. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Start out small, but think big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. That's a good idea. Start out small, think big. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Start out one project, and until you're thoroughly invested into it and it's going well, don't switch up and take another path. I like it. I think that's great advice. What do you think? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say you nailed it.
Oh, okay, all right. What do you think it takes to make it to the top?
Top of the esports scene. I think you need to have an unending amount of motivation. You gotta grind your ass off, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta play however many hours a day, committing to esports. You gotta get up. You gotta go. If you go to school, you gotta go to school. You can't really have a job. You gotta go home and grind, right? Or you gotta invest. You gotta find some way. And I think you do need. In one part of it, I think you do need like the proper gaming equipment. Like you look at it, people are saying you need a 144 hertz monitor, or you need a gaming mouse or a keyboard. I wouldn't agree with the keyboard. The mouse maybe, but you do need like a computer that can run these games like CSGO, 200 plus FPS. Otherwise, if you're playing at like 60, it's no fun. Personal experience.
Personal experience.
My old PC was not good at it at all.
No, but yeah, you need to work. You can't expect to see any results without working. That goes with any field, anything. If you don't put the time in, you're not going to see any. You're not going to see. If you don't put the time in, you're not going to see any product. You're not going to see any change. You're not going to become better. Honestly, you're probably going to become worse. If you don't put the time in, if you don't put the effort in, you're not going to see anything come out of it. What he said was
it's all effort. It's all effort.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sleeping more than 4 hours a day, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Where I come from, sleep is a cousin of death.
You can't sleep. That's the thing. You got to be chugging those monsters down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about Monster, but
oh no, I'm waiting on that sponsorship, man.
G Fuel.
Oh no, forget that, dude. I drink the Monster Zero Sugars.
I don't drink Monsters or G Fuel at all. Just for the record.
I don't drink shit. I have ADHD.
I stick with I just got regular pop, to be honest.
I'm naturally hyper. I'm good.
Exactly.
All right.
Well,
anything else to add?
I don't think so.
I think we're all good unless you have anything you wanted to say, anything special, and then if after you're done saying that, if you have anything, feel free to drop your socials.
I think I said everything I needed to say in the podcast.
All right. Well, where
Fellow,
can
just give
where
me
can
a
people
second.
find you?
Let me. Hold
Well,
on.
he's
We were
grabbing something.
underprepared. Give me a second.
Everyone here
Hold
was underprepared.
Hold on. Okay. Whew. All right. Well, Reapers, it has been a pleasure for us, and I'm sure our listeners have enjoyed the talk as well.
Shit.
So
Hold
feel
on.
free to let them know
Hold on.
any last things you want them to, as well as socials. Do you have a Twitter, a Twitch that you want them to find you on or something like that?
So you can follow me on Twitter at ReapersFPS. And my Twitch is Reapers with 2 underscores because 1 underscore was taken and just Reapers was taken.
Gotcha.
I like it. So we've got at Reapers FPS on Twitter and
Yes.
Reapers __ on Twitch. And do you have a YouTube or anything else?
Not an active one. But it's Reapers FPS as well.
Alrighty.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then if you go ahead, Icy.
And if you'd like to find the AR podcast, you can do so on Twitter at Rain Podcast, no space or underscore. On YouTube at Absolute Rain and on SoundCloud at Absolute Rain Podcast. And to find accuracy, you could do so at.
You can find me on Twitter at ProAccuracy and on Twitch at Nothing But Accuracy and then on YouTube at Nothing But Accuracy.
Gotcha. Okay. And to find me, Icy, you can look up on Twitter, Icy on me, 2 I's, capital O, capital me. Or I don't even think you have to capitalize. But
No.
Icy on me, 2 I's. And to find my Twitch, it is Icy, 2 I's, 2 cold, 2 O's. And that is about it. Thank you for listening, and I hope each and every one of you have a beautiful evening or day.